We have our gigs. Now let's create our proposals. If we go into our text editor here, the first thing that we'll want to do is go into our routes file. And for resources gigs, we want to create a nested table here, or nested route. So we'll say proposals here, and do everything except for the index action. So this will create all of our CRUD actions except for our index action. We might want to add more later, but for now this is okay. So now if we do our rake routes here, we'll see it created new paths for our proposals right here. Except now it's nested underneath a gig. So a proposal can only be in the context of a gig, which makes sense. So now we go back to our text editor. Let's go into our show page here and create a form underneath this submit a proposal section. So we'll want to say div class equals row. Can create another div here and call it, let's say x12, and make these 12 here. Create our form group. And actually, before all of this, we need to create our form. So we'll say form for proposal. And where's that going? Well, that's going to the create action on our proposals controller. So if we go into our proposals controller, we don't have that yet, but that's where we want to point it to, because if we look at our routes here, we have a proposals create right here. There's also a new gig proposals right here. Sorry, right here. So back into our text editor, say this is form for the URL is going to be gig proposals path at gig. So let's take a look at this again. So this is going to be our create action of our proposal. So let's get rid of that and do F. So this is where it comes into play. So now down here in our form group, so F label is going to be the description, text area of description as well. And actually, here we go. How many rows? Let's say we'll have it 5 rows, and let's give it a class of form control. Input LG. We can also have a small, here, a little helper block. Say explain the skills needed for this gig. All right. So close that out, and then right beneath here, this is where we'll have our submit tag. Submit proposal. And that's going to be a button of primary. Put LG. Create a breaking point here too. Now let's take a look and see what this looks like. Syntax error 49 and 51 of our show page. Unexpected end of keyword. So that is awkward because we don't have our we don't have an end right here, so we need to just put the end like that and move everything over. So move this over like that. There you go. Do a refresh. There you go. So here is how we have it. Submit a proposal. and let's just say I'm going to submit a proposal of 10. Now it's saying we don't have a create action for our proposals controller, so let's go ahead and create the create action for our proposals controller. So define create, and what we want to do here is basically go find that gig based on the parameters of the gig ID. So this gig proposals path right here, it's giving us the gig ID. We're passing that in right here. Now go find us the gig with that parameter. Proposal equals add gig proposals build proposal params. Create a create a private method here of get proposal params. Params require proposal permit the bid and the description, I believe. Bid and this description. Good. Now we'll say proposal, if proposal, or which is a proposal, save. So there we have it. That should get us going for now. Well, let's do a refresh and see what this says. Now it's telling us we don't have a create template. Well, it shouldn't need one of those. You know what? We're not redirecting it to where it should be. So we have to do a redirect to at proposal.gig. Go back, do a refresh. Let's just create another one. $11, we'll say. Redirect us back here, and let's go into our Rails controller, our Rails console, and see if it created one. 11 right here, description, and we don't have a bid here. So let's create that as well. So we have the description, but we don't have a bid. So we could just take this entire thing right here, create another one. Description instead being a bid. This be a text field. Don't need the rows here. And then what do you want the amount of your bid to be? Amount of your bid. Now do a refresh. There you go. We have our bid be $100. In 2 weeks, I can do it. Submit proposal. Go to our Rails console and do bid.last, and you'll see that we have a bid of 100 and description of 2 weeks. So there you have it. We've created a simple form here to allow users to submit a proposal to this gig. Next, we'll work on showing all of the proposals at the bottom here so that both the user and other users can see who has proposed or made a proposal to this gig.